Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with the divisional round. Last week, I actually was one of my best weeks showing as I went 5-1 to that week. The only game that I missed was the Texans and Browns, but other than that, I got every single game right. So this week we only have 8 teams left, and our 2 teams that were on bye weeks last week, they're now ready to play. And we're going to start things off with the Houston Texans traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Texans last week once again proved me wrong, as they got a huge blowout win over the Cleveland Browns, as they handed Joe Flacco his first ever wild card loss in his career. CJ Stroud, he was very amazing in that game, nearly 300 yards passing. And the Houston defense really shut down the Browns offense. Now for the Ravens, we all know they were on a bye week last week. They were resting players, but here's the thing about me and resting players. How much rust will be shown by Lamar Jackson and pretty much by the entire Ravens team? Because this season they went 13-4. The last time we saw the Ravens was they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers regular season finale, but they rested their starters. So they're basically coming off 2 weeks off from playing playing meaningful football, and that could be a cause of alarm for the Ravens. And a part of me wants to take the Houston Texans to win because I have doubts of Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. And Houston right now, they're riding a bit of a hot streak. But even though the Ravens beat them week 1, 25-9 to give us a scoregami, I am going to roll with the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I think Lamar Jackson will definitely conquer some of his playoff demons, even though he only has 1 playoff win. And I do believe the Ravens defense will definitely make CJ Stroud's night a living hell. Following that, we have what looks like these 2 teams always find a way to play each other in the postseason. We have the Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay made history last week. They became the first 7 seed to win a playoff game. And they did so by embarrassing the Dallas Cowboys. And y'all could go ahead and start laughing at the Cowboys. Jordan Love, he had his finest game of his career. And Aaron Jones, he basically, I know Aaron Rodgers usually owns the Cowboys, but Aaron Jones says, you know what, I'm willing to share ownership in owning the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, they were embarrassed that game. And the Packers, in fact, they were the only road team to win in the playoffs last week. That's even adding on to the Cowboys' embarrassment. As for the 49ers, the last time we saw them was Week 18 against the 49ers, against the Rams, and they too rested their starters. So again, rust will be key on how the 49ers will look. But luckily, I think the 49ers are one of the best teams in the league. They are right now my early representation to go to the Super Bowl, and I think this game is going to be no contest. And I'm going to roll with the 49ers to not only win, but dominate the Green Bay Packers. Next, we have a very interesting game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Detroit Lions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, they avenged their Week 3 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles by not only winning, but blowing out the Philadelphia Eagles. And with that, this means we're going to have a brand new NFC champion for the year 2023. Baker Mayfield had, even though at one point his completion, he had a really good day, and his day could have been a lot better had his receivers learned how to catch the ball. But overall, Baker did, and don't forget, we gotta credit the Tampa Bay defense for clamping down on Jalen Hurts in the offense and stopping the tush push. As for the Detroit Lions, you could finally text him. You could finally send a text. You could finally tweet about it. They won a playoff game in my lifetime, getting a very close win over Matthew Stafford and the Rams. And I know there's good blood between these two teams. But Detroit, at the end of the day, they won the game. So with that being said, this one could go in any direction. The last time we saw these two teams play together, they played each other this year, and that was week 6. It was the Tampa Bay Creamsicle game in which the Bucks won. No, the Lions won 20-6, and they used their defense to get on board. This game is going to be played in Detroit again, and even though Tampa had a really good day, I think their Cinderella run will come to an end. I'm going to roll with the Detroit Lions to win and go to the NFC Championship game. Who would ever thought that would happen? And finally, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. And we're adding another chapter to the Mahomes-Josh Allen rivalry. I call this the modern day Peyton Manning, Tom Brady rivalry. Because these two players always find a way to meet up with each other. Kansas City Chiefs last week, they pretty much used the cold and the defense to their advantage to beat the Miami Dolphins. It was nothing too much spectacular about it, other than it was cold and Andy Reid's mustache was frozen solid. And the same could be said for the Buffalo Bills, who pretty much easily took care of the pesky Pittsburgh Steelers. At least the Steelers didn't get blown out like men. Now, these two teams, they played each other already this year. And it was week 14 or 15. It was actually 14. It was a game in Kansas City, and the Bills, they desperately needed that win to save their season, and it saved their season and then some. As the Bills, this was the start of the Bills going on a winning streak for them. Kansas City, I know, and I know this, unlike this is probably the first time in a long time in which this time the Bills are hosting this game. They always seem to find a way to host in Kansas City, but hey, them's just the breaks. As for a winner, I think this game is going to could go in any direction, depending on how the Chiefs play. But because the Bills, I trust the Bills a little more being at home, and I think the crowd have been waiting for Kansas City for some time. I am going to roll with the Bills to go to the AFC Championship game. But don't worry, I do expect fireworks for this one. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.